guys. Okay, so now we're going into dilutions. Okay, so on here we have our formula as M1, meaning initial molarity. So that's how you're gonna start, at least the beginning of that molarity. And then the volume one means initial volume in liters. M2 means final molarity. V2 means final volume in liters. Okay, so you need to make 10.0 liters of 1.2 molarity of potassium nitrate. Okay, so what molarity would the potassium nitrate solution need to be if you were to use only 2.5 liters of it? Okay, so for here we need to label every single number that you see in the word column. Okay, so first thing first are your given. So your given is your 10.0 liters. Just by saying L, that means it's liters. So it's either V1 or V2. Now it says here you need to make this. So this is the end product. So this is what you need at the end. Okay. So this, because it has liters, then this has to be the V2. This is the final volume because that's what you need to make at the end. Okay. So that will be your final volume will be V2. Now your 1.2 molarity, because it's together, usually they stick together. Okay, they usually do. Okay, I can't say for all locations, but in here it is. So in here it would be, if this would be the molarity of this volume right here. So it would be M2. That will be your final molarity. Okay, and you see how they come together? Okay, because this is the beginning and this is the end. What molarity? So here is what molarity. So that would be what you're trying to solve. So usually these are your unknown. So that's the one that you need to isolate, the one that you need to have by itself on one side. Since I already did it here for you, today mainly is to identify them. Okay, that's mainly your job today. Okay, so here would be V2, M2. That would be your unknown. That we don't know it because that's what they're asking. Okay, what molarity would the potassium nitrate solution need to be if you were to use only 2.5 liters? So this is the ingredient. This is what you have. Oh, I have this much of milk and I need to make a cake. Or well, on this one it would be like a solution. Actually, I shouldn't say cake because that's more solid. But here you're making a solution. Okay, so in this one you have 2.5 liters of a certain solution. Okay, so 2.5 liters, that means that's the beginning. That's your initial volume. And mainly it's liters also, liters. So that will be your V1. It can't be this one because that's molarity. And anyways, that's the one we're trying to solve. So this one will be your V1. Okay, so after that, okay, if you guys look at this, okay, so in here, we need to isolate our molarity, which is our M1. That's the one we're trying to solve, okay? So if you guys look at this, you see how we're trying to solve for M1 and it's isolated? Well, what was done to it? So it started off with this, right? It just started off with this. Okay, usually to isolate, you have to move the ones that are around it. Okay, the ones that, okay. So like for M1, we need to isolate, make sure that this is by itself. Since V1 is there next to it, we need to move this one to the other side. Okay, so in here I do that. Okay, I already do it for you. So here, since this is multiplying, right? It was multiplying. You always do the opposite to move it to the other side. So this is multiplying, you have to divide the V1. Now again, why the V1? Because you want the M1 by itself. You need to remove it. You need to move it But it can't just disappear. You have to do the same thing to the other side. Since you divided it, you have to do division as well in here. So it will be B1. Okay, so now in here, now we have our M1 by itself, and all we have to do is plug it in. So if you guys look at this of course, this is multiplying and this is your division. So in other words, you have to put your M2 here and your V2 here, and then the V1 goes on the bottom. Okay, so I'll just put a line there so you guys could see that. Okay, so let's go ahead, since we already plugged it, we already know what they are. We're going to start with M2. M2 is 1.2 moles of potassium nitrate. Make sure you put this exactly just the way it looks in the computer, okay? And then V2 will be 10.0 liters, okay? And then the bottom, it will be your volume 1, which is 2.5 liters. And this is easy. You should have a calculator there. It's on the side. It's a calculator. So all you have to do is multiply the top, which is, and you could use your phone too. Okay, it's 1.2 times 10.0. That is a 12 divided by 2.5 liters. So divided by 2.5, that equals to 4.8. Okay, and molarity. And that's it, you guys.